What's going on, Motor City Sports? So I'll be back in the building and kind of jumping the gun a little bit. But if the Detroit Pistons don't make the playoffs, or if they even get swept in the non-competitive series, it's a time for the Detroit Pistons to blow it up. Let's talk on it, man. Appreciate everybody for checking back in, man. And personally, I thought, they wouldn't even be this far. I thought the way the season was going, they had lost, 10 in a row or something like that. Blake was giving it the best that he got. And just wasn't getting it done, man. And then the All-Star break come. Blake kind of wear down a little bit. Andre Drummond step it up. Reggie Jackson, they redefined his role. He started to step it up a lot better. Just talked about Bruce Brown. He started defending. He was defending all year for the most part, but he started to improve on his defensive side. And, Luke Kennard got healthy. He showed a post. Langston Galloway boosted the bench. Ish Smith came back healthy, boosted the bench. They picked up Wayne Ellington and started doing some solid things. They got rid of Stanley, who still ain't doing nothing in New Orleans. For Stanley Johnson apologists that's still out there. And they still, Thon Maker, he been doing well. People talking about him. They trying to act like he supposed to come in here and be fucking Michael Jordan. He's still a kid. Still got to build up his strength and then got to develop a game. But they trying to act like he supposed to come in here and do like, elite things. But he's still getting better, man. But a lot of people going to continue to put the blame on players that don't need to put the blame on. You put the blame on Dwayne Casey. You put the blame on Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin, Reggie Jackson. Those are the guys who getting the money, or as the coach. But, as far as blowing it up, man, can you blow it up is the question. Let's start off there. Can you blow it up? Can you trade Andre Drummond if you need be? Can you trade Blake Griffin if you need be? Drummond got, 2 more years on this contract, or 3 more years, 21, 22 season. He playing strong, defending better. He improving though, so it's gonna be hard for them to trade Andre Drummond after the second half of the season he got, but he still got bad matchups like versus Steven Adams, but he's still a kid. When he's 24, 25 years old, still get stronger, improved his free throw shooting, improved his defense, improved his rim protection. He's still missing bunnies at the rim, and he still got to develop a post game. But if he ever develop a post game, I think it's lights out for the league. I think he can be an MVP candidate. So can you really toss that potential away for less than market value? Because that's what they're gonna try to get you for. Because Andre Drummond ain't one of those trending centers in the league. The league is going to the stretch 5 and stuff of that nature. So really, what you really can get for Andre Drummond is the question. And do you want to take less than market value? You want cap space? You want to rebuild it through the draft? But at the end of the day, Dan Gilbert still wants to build. He still think he could build a winner off the fly. And every year they go through trying to trade draft assets for somebody that they can piece something together. And it kind of stopped myself here real quick. It's pretty much the equivalent. It's pretty much the equivalent of, quick fixing your car. Instead of you going ahead and replacing the exhaust system at the bottom, you go ahead and put some Gorilla Tape to pin your exhaust system up, and eventually, it need to be fixed, and eventually it fall off completely, and now you got to get a ticket because your shit loud, or, you putting in that stop smoke in your engine instead of treating your engine and getting it tuned up, eventually, it blow out or something like that because you're not taking care of it. So you can't just keep doing quick fixes. Quick fixes is what got you in a situation where you paying 75 or almost 80% of your cap to 3 players in Blake Griffin, Reggie Jackson, and Andre Drummond. Quick fixes is the reason they got to this situation. So at what point do they say blow it up? What is this? They got to say, what is this team ceiling? A 4th seed, a 5th seed? Can they win a Central? If Victor Oladipo come back, are you going to be better than the Oladipo Pacers? Right now, you can't beat the Pacers without Oladipo. The Bulls coming. If they get John Moran or they make some trades, they got Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn. What if they get some veterans in there and they start winning? Milwaukee. They is balling, man. They look like they going to be good for a long time unless Giannis just want to leave Milwaukee and go somewhere else. So what is your ceiling for this team? Because with 3 players taking up 80% of the cap estimated and Reggie Jackson on expiring contract, that's something to play with next year. Okay, you got a expiring contract. Let's say Luke Kennard might still have some value on the market. You got a first round draft pick. You got a future first round draft pick. I mean, what can you go out there and get? Kemba Walker's a free agent next year. Can you sign and trade for him? Say you sign and trade and we send you this. Probably not. So that's really, I think next year is really critical for them, man. But do they cut their loss and say, okay, fuck it, let's burn it down. Let's trade everybody, trade who we can. Let's build it back up through the draft. Well, historically, Pistons ain't never really done that. You know what I'm saying? At least in the since the 2000s, we've been trying to build up and stuff of that nature. We got Grant in the 90s, and then we couldn't put nothing around Grant. So the way in the NBA you do build up is you be bad, you get high lottery picks, you capitalize, man. And yeah, we've had this argument before on social media, and a lot of times it don't work out. But for small to mid-market teams, that's the best way. For Cleveland, Patterson, Kyrie, Deion Waiters, Andrew Wiggins eventually got traded. Well, he wasn't going to be shit no way. All them top 3 number 1 picks and the top 5 pick in Deion Waiters, it didn't work out for them. So when you get there, you got to have the management and the president and the GM, whoever you want to call them, to make the right selections. Because, obviously your elite caliber players are pinned down when you're in the top 5. You know who the elite ones are, how they going to fall in. But then again, you can make mistakes. Lonzo over Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, over Lonzo. That was a mistake, all mistakes that were made. So really, it's about what are you willing to do? Are you willing to trade off and be bad in a new arena? I think the Pistons not. I think the Pistons, I can see them trying to go at it again next year. But at what point enough is enough? At one point you say, okay, man, we giving all these dudes all this money. We can't build around them. We don't have no cap space going to next season. Our biggest asset is our draft pick and Reggie Jackson expiring contract. Okay, Luke Kennard ain't stepped it up. Had that been Donovan Mitchell, this might be a totally different scenario. But it wasn't. And that wasn't on Ed Stefanowski or Malik Rose, the GM in waiting. That wasn't on Dwayne Casey. That was on Jordan Bowers and Stan Van Gundy. Bringing Reggie Jackson here and signing him to a big contract. That's Jordan Bowers and Stan Van Gundy. So at the end of the day, it's all about what Tom Gores want to do. And Tom Gores want to win now, and they believe they can win now. But at some point, at some point where you say, okay, the faith test failed last year, the faith test failed this year if they don't make the playoffs. At what point do we say, fuck it, blow it up? But blowing up requires you to take less in return for Blake Griffin. Blowing up requires you to pretty much be bad, be terrible, tank, trust the process. Not that many fans coming to the game like Philadelphia, and be bad for a couple seasons. So pretty much you got to take 5, 6, 7, 10 steps back, hoping eventually you can take 100 steps forward, where you might only take 1, 2 steps back. And a scenario like the 76ers with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, you might take 10 steps back and take 7 steps back and backwards just to get 50 steps forward. And then with Markelle Fultz, take 3 or 4 steps, 5 steps backwards and take a loss. So when you get up there, you got to hope that you got to project and say, how good will the next draft be? Okay, what is our plan? How are we going to build this team? So it'll be interesting, man, because ain't no star free agents coming to Detroit. So how you get free agent stars here, how you get stars in general here, you build them up, homegrown, and then you make it attractive when you get your younger stars there and you put them all together before they hit their second contract. But, in an ideal situation, man, I'd have been blew it up. And I said it before. I'd have been blew this shit up. Last year, I would have traded Blake to OKC. I would have traded Andre Drummond. But then again, it's hard to trade Drummond when he continued to improve. It's hard to trade him. But hey, if he improved, maybe his market value go up. But I would have been tore down. But this is what I think gonna happen, and I'm not mad at it. What's gonna happen is they're gonna hit the free agent. They're gonna hit the market next year. They're gonna hit off season. They're gonna try to see what they can get for expiring Reggie Jackson contract. They may even throw a Luke Kennard in there, and then I think they're gonna try to bring maybe a Conley back again, and then bring they use their mid-level exception next year to bring somebody in to help. So for the most part, I think they're going to bank on Kyrie Thomas improving over the summer. They're going to bank on Bruce Brown improving over the summer. They might have a mid-level exception to bring in. And then they're going to work on moving what they got to move to get some help in there for Blake and Andre. So next year, you're probably going to come in with maybe a new guard, maybe a second-round rookie they might identify that had injuries or some type of problems in school. So they're going to gear up and go for it again. You know, at the end of the day, I don't know how many times they got to go through. They're not good enough to see that we need to blow it up, but we'll see. They might rock out Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond until they contracts expire, and then they might move them. So that could be a possibility too. You got to look at like, okay, when they get an expiring contract, Blake could be 35, 37 million his contract year. And that's a few years down the line. Dre's contract come up closer. He'd be at 29 million, I believe. So you take Dre and say, okay, I got 29 million to trade for. So you can bring another star back, or you can just, get some cap room. So we'll see, man. But I honestly thought they should have blew it up. If they miss play, I think they should blow it up. But I understand why they wouldn't blow it up, because obviously you got a new stadium. You know, you got attractive star in Blake Griffin. You got attractive rising star Andre Drummond. And then you got the safety net of Reggie Jackson expiring contract that can bring you something in return when you go out to fish at sea. So I'm not mad if they go for it again, but I don't know what the next draft looking like next year. Obviously, I would like to see them got in position for Ja Morant. I think that was a perfect one of the perfect guys to get. But hey, man, they can make the playoffs. They make the playoffs. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? But next year it's going to be all about Reggie Jackson and what they can get for that contract in return. And probably the first round draft pick could be gone. And possibly they can move. They probably going to have to move Luke Kennard, because that's who Memphis asked for, and Mike Conley in return. The first round draft pick, Reggie Jackson, and Luke Kennard. That's who the Grizzlies wanted for Mike Conley. So we'll see if they revisit that. So it'd be interesting to see what they do. Me personally, I would blow it up, but I know that they won't after the season, even if they make or miss the playoffs, man, because they got that contract from Reggie Jackson. So we'll see, man. But hey, I'd be surprised if they didn't move that Reggie Jackson expiring contract and first round draft pick next year, man. Only way they don't do that, man, I just can't see it. Maybe by the trade deadline or not, but obviously, something need to change. There's something need to change, to be honest, man. So they just don't have a cap room with those three to fill out a roster, man. And we seen it last night, going into the third and the fourth quarter. OKC bench just dominated us, man, and we just don't have the firepower off the bench. That's what happened when you pay, you got 25 going to Dre, 30-something going to Blake, and another almost 20 going to Reggie, and $109 million salary cap. So hard to fill out, man. So it is what it is. Motor City Sports Talk, appreciate it, man. We rocked out this morning, man. Watch Michigan State play today, I guess. Not a big State fan, but I'm glad they beat Duke. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email as well. If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, or video request, appreciate it. One time for the one time we grinding. Motor City Sports Talk, man. Keep sharing the videos, man. I definitely appreciate that. It's the best donation.